Alright, so long story short, I got this Vistalite bass drum shell off of Facebook. I bought some hardware for it, put it all together, and now I have a pretty cool bass drum. Long story long though, so I got the shell off of Facebook and I did a little Instagram story which you might have caught. But after I got the shell, I started the long drawn out process of finding parts for this thing. So I started with my local guys, and Eric, who I've talked about before, was the only one that had anything. So he had 10 lugs, so we're off to a good start. After I got the first 10 lugs, I found 13 more on eBay, so I bought those. And then also, right after I bought those, I found another listing for 10 that was like way cheaper, so I bought those also, even though I don't need them. So we got plenty of lugs, so let's put those on the drum. Well, actually not yet. Vistalites are clear, so that means you can see through the shell into the lugs, so that means we need gaskets. So I went online and found them, $2.50 a piece, so that means I would spend $50 for 20 pieces of little plastic, so that was not gonna happen. So instead, I went out and bought a vinyl plotter. First, I scanned the lug and traced it in Photoshop. Then I tweaked it around in the plotter software and it cut it out for me. These blue ones weren't totally perfect and the color looked a little weird with the shell. So I tweaked it a little bit more and I cut them out in black and a darker blue just to see which one I thought would look better. And I thought the black looked better and you all thought the black looked better, so let's go with black. So now that we have all the gaskets cut out, we can finally put the lugs on the shell. At this point, I'd been on eBay and Reverb and all these other sites trying to find other parts for this drum, but I couldn't really find anything, so I went on Drum Factory Direct and bought hoops, claws, and tension rods. Instead of buying black hoops, I decided to buy natural hoops and stain them myself, so you'll see a video on that later on, but this is the finished product. The claws that I bought were these cheap generic ones, and it turns out that they don't actually fit the profile of the hoop, so no big deal. I waited around on eBay and I found a listing of 20 Ludwig classic claws with tension rods, so I bought those. So I guess I can save all these other tension rods for some other projects. This curved style spur is what the Vistalite uses, and there's two different sizes. There's a small size and a big size. The big one is 1/2 inch and the small one is 5/16 of an inch. And I was under the impression that the 1/2 inch was the small size, so I bought those, but it didn't fit. So no big deal, I hopped back online trying to find the small style of these, but people want a crazy amount of money for these things. So I did a little bit of research. So tracking down a set of the thin spurs is like a lost cause at this point. You can see I have like 20,000 tabs open, but we might be able to get away with something like this, the fold out style, kind of like I used on that little baby right there. So I'm gonna grab a floor tom leg mount and see if this will fit. Moment of truth. Oh, might be in business. Oh, what do you know about that? Oh, right. Oh, it's so relieving. We're going with these. So now with the spurs figured out, we can finally finish this drum. Sorry, Remo. And what's a Vistalite without the bass drum decal? So there's chips on the bearing edge, there's cracks on the tom mount, there's dings, dents, scuffs, and scratches all over this thing. There's no badge, so it's impossible to date. So what this thing is worth, I have no idea. But don't get me wrong, I had a blast putting this thing together, and I never really understood the Ludwig nerds out there. But after putting this together, I totally understand the craze and why people are so obsessed with Ludwig. So I have plans for this kick drum. I have some other things in the works, so be on the lookout for that. And just because people ask this all the time when I do a project like this, the shell I got for free. I know, I got lucky. I got the shell for free. The hoops I paid $70 for. The tension rods and claws I paid $120 for. And then the lugs were $100 and the spurs were around $40. So in total I paid around $350 for this, and I totally think it was worth it. So that's enough talking. Let's hear it. So that is the Vistalite kick project. Like I said, I have other plans in the works, so stay tuned for that. Also, don't forget to check out Dashlane in the description. And if you have any other sort of questions or comments, be sure to leave those in the comments. So yeah, that's it for this one. Thanks for watching.